My name is Clara. I have been here in this country many years. I came as a teenager. I never got to work in Venezuela, where I'm from. I'm married. I have 2 grown girls and a stepson, and I am currently unemployed. I have a double bachelor in psychology and women's studies. I got laid off last year, exactly a year ago in September of last year, by a corporate company that I used to work for due to restructuring. The company was splitting. We were promised that everyone was going to have a job, and unfortunately this was not true. Many people got laid off, and I was one of those persons. That they approached me for the layoff. Actually, I was the one that had persisted with my supervisor to find out what was going on, because through the restructuring, people were being offered positions within the 2 new companies, and people were getting their offers, and here I was with no offer in hand. So I started pressuring my supervisor to please find out through HR, whether what was happening with my position, being that everybody else had already a position. So through this, I finally, was approached by HR and the supervisor. And that day, even though I kind of had a feeling this was coming, you still hope that it's not going to happen. And it felt horrible. I try to remember that somehow I'm going to be taken care of, but it still feels awful, especially when I knew that the people within my unit, everyone had been offered jobs. So I felt like inadequate, like why is this happening to me? Why if I have so many skills to offer, and other people were given opportunities that they really necessarily didn't have the skills, yet they were going to train them through it. So I was really confused as to why was this happening to me, and why was I not given that type of opportunity. But I decided to take the severance package, and even though I was, I really had 2 semesters left of school, and I decided that I was going to utilize that time where I was going to have the severance pay to take on more classes. So I took a lot of credits that semester so that I will be able to just graduate that semester and then start the new year looking for a job. And now I was going to have a better opportunity because I was going to have the degrees. I graduated in December, and I said to myself, great, I'll start the new year, and even if it takes a little time, I'll be able to get the job that I want to now because I have a degree. And the year started, and I was gung-ho, applying to different jobs. Not just do anything, but things that really were in the field where I was coming from, in marketing and branding, and sent applications, never heard back from companies. I wasn't even interviewing, being contacted for interviews. And so I was questioning this whole education thing. Now I have the degree, and I'm not even getting interviews. It was a very confusing time in my life. Even though faith kind of kept me going and continuing to apply, even though I was not hearing from anybody, I had many times that I questioned myself. I had this great resume, and yet, it wasn't picking up any connection with anybody out there. I felt alone, even though in essence I kind of knew I was not alone, but I really was questioning the process. I really could not understand how, even just for a callback or just for somebody to talk to me, just not hearing from anyone was scary. It made me feel not valuable enough, what is it that I'm missing, or why is this not pinning? I just couldn't. Very confusing. The fact that this was my second layoff, it really made me question my skills and what I had to offer in the workplace, because I just felt incomplete. My girls have been very loving and supportive. They've been my little cheerleaders, and I've had literally 2 or 3 interviews, and every time I've gone out there, they text me, they call me, they cheer me on. They are concerned about my health. They don't want me to get stressed. Through the whole stress situation last year of me not knowing whether I was going to get unemployed or not, or I was going to be offered a job, I had a mini stroke. And because I had built so much stress. And so I think that my daughter's concern and my husband alike was that I was going to build so much stress, again, that it could affect me in my health. This journey of labor, employment and unemployment, has been extremely good because I think I have learned a lot. Life is always changing, and every time I look back, through the first unemployment, because of it, I went back to school, and now I have my degrees. Regardless of whether I have the job right now or not, I was completely empowered and changed and touched in so many ways that I'm very grateful that I actually completed that education. In addition, I think when you have you deal with so much uncertainty, you also learn to trust more in the process that somehow you are taken care of. I mean, I was so stressed last year because I thought that once I lost my job, how were we going to pay the bills, how things were going to be taken care of, and here I am. I'm still unemployed and the bills are getting paid. And yes, you have to tighten up, you have to change lifestyle, you have to do many things, but the point is that it wasn't the end of the world. And if it wasn't because of all of this and this process, and probably entering more into meditation and yoga and all these different things, is that I've been able to tap also in my heart and been able to discover, what really touches me in such a passionate way that I want to get back into the workforce, not necessarily in the same way where I was, but I think in more enriching for myself and for others. How can I go back and really make a difference, something that I feel so passionate about, that makes me feel so alive, and hopefully that will change the lives of many. That, I think, I really, as hard as unemployment has been, if I had to do it all over again, I would do it, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to get to where I am today. That this can be a good thing. This doesn't have to be a bad thing. I mean, I heard it from other stories of people too, that they create businesses, they do all these different things, all these wonderful things, but it's true, it's happening to me too. So I like to think that somehow my story will make it more tangible for someone else, will bring a little bit of light into that darkness, that it feels so dark when you're unemployed, that you feel lost and alone and abandoned. And that's not true. That is not true. We're not lost and we're not alone, and there's so many resources out there, but we do need to reach out. And you need to learn to reach out when you're feeling down, to call that friend. There are different organizations that are there to support you. And even just going in nature. I went in my garden many times and worked in the garden, and that relaxed me. Or going by the ocean, things that doesn't cost you any money. This can be a wonderful process, and I hope that for anyone that can go through this, can probably remember a little bit of what I say, that will help them tap into that experience that is available for any of us.